Welcome to part 2 of What If the Calamity Trio was in the Dragon Ball Universe Movie Edition. In the last part, we looked at the Dead Zone and the World's Strongest. Both movies only had Ann in them. In this part, we're going to check out the Tree of Might and Lord Slug. So for the Tree of Might, the movie will start off the same, with Bulma, Krillin, and Oolong setting up the camp. Just like in the original, Gohan comes in a little later, but this time he's with Ann, and they actually have a much smaller backpack compared to the original. When Krillin asks what took them so long, Ann tells them that she had to repack the bag that both her and Gohan have. Chi-Chi basically packed a bag that's basically a house. The only compromise that Ann made with Chi-Chi is that both she and Gohan would bring some homework with them. Krillin is kind of confused by this, saying that Ann doesn't really have any studies here, but Ann clarifies that because she was still in school in her universe, Chi-Chi thought it would be best if she kept up with her studies. Ann thinks Chi-Chi may have been a bit overboard, especially with what she's studying, because it's freaking university level. Ann was just in middle school, so this is way too much for her. Basically, Gohan has to tutor her. And besides that, the rest of their camping trip is pretty uneventful. But just like in the movie, when they're turning in for the night, the drone that was sent to the planet causes a forest fire. And just like in the original, Gohan and Krillin has to put out the forest fire. This time, Ann is with them, still it was much faster to clear it out. They were able to save the forest a little bit, but it's still pretty devastated. However, like Gohan, Ann made a friend. It was with the same Sabretooth that gave her the scar on her arm. So while the group is lamenting about the loss of the forest, Krillin states that they could use Dragon Balls. Ann is surprised that a year has already passed and that she missed her chance to make a wish to bring her and her friends home. Besides that, Ann still helps the group find the Dragon Balls. When they summon the dragon, Ann is surprised because this is literally the first time she is seeing Shenron. After the wish has been made to restore the forest, Ann takes a proper look at the Sabretooth and notices that it has the same color pattern as her cat Domino. And since this Sabretooth seems to be thankful for her, kind of just cuddling up to her and whatnot, Ann decides to call it Domino 2. That's right, we have Domino 2. Sadly, it's only in the movies. After that, again, the events plays out the same. The only difference is Ann isn't really at the house, she's checking on the garden actually. In that garden, the Sabretooth finds Ann and actually brings her a small fish. Ann is surprised by this and sees that the Sabretooth is basically trying to apologize to her. Ann is thankful for it. When she arrives back at the house, she notices that Icarus is there. When she goes in, she sees Chi-Chi scolding Gohan about Icarus. Ann interrupts Chi-Chi's scolding and saying that the same thing has happened to her, and she brings up the little fish that Domino 2 had brought her. But Chi-Chi isn't having any of it. She tells Ann that her scolding is gonna come later, which surprises Ann. She just got back. Why is she getting a scolding? The scolding isn't really a scolding, but it's just saying that you are not allowed to bring that Sabretooth here. It is a wild animal, so you should not bring it by the house. To which Ann is just like, of course I'm not gonna bring it around the house. It's a freaking Sabretooth. It may try to apologize, but it still almost tore off my arm. And Chi-Chi is glad that Ann is seeing her way. Meanwhile, with Gohan and Goku, the event stays the same between Gohan, Goku, and Icarus. Everything after that stays the same until the group is at the house, comforting Yamcha about the loss of his new car. Instead of Chi-Chi serving up some drinks, it's actually Ann who does so, and she actually gives them some traditional Thai drinks, to which people are really grateful for. The scene will still play out the same until Ann notices that Domino 2 has showed up at the house. Ann is surprised that Domino 2 is here. She made sure Domino 2 didn't follow her, so when she tried to go out there, Chi-Chi ends up scolding Ann, basically telling her that they talked about this and that Ann promised not to bring that wild cat here. Ann said that she didn't bring it here. So she goes outside and tries to make Domino 2 leave. But then Icarus shows up and the scene basically starts playing out similar to how it does in the movie. When Ann goes back inside, just like in the movie, King Kai is telling Goku about the Tree of Might. And everything starts playing out how it does in the movie, with the exception that Ann is also fighting as well. While Ann is fighting, Turles is watching her and he mistakes her for a Saiyan. But besides that, again the movie starts playing out how it does originally. When Gohan is looking for Goku, he actually bumps into Ann first. After Ann had questions Gohan, they bump into Turles. once again, the scene starts playing out almost the same. Again, with the exception that when Anne is trying to correct Turles that she isn't a Saiyan, Turles doesn't believe her. Just like how in the movies there's some cutaways to the planet's energy being sucked away, there would also be a cutaway that shows Domino 2's energies being taken by the Tree of Might. Now besides that, again, the movie is still playing out the same. Some small differences like, Anne attacks Turles first, then followed by Gohan. Obviously Turles is able to stop their attacks. When Piccolo comes in, he is obviously referring to both Anne and Gohan when telling Turles to release them. Turles does release both Anne and Gohan, but just like in the original, Turles blasts both Piccolo and Anne. Anne is taken out for a little bit, so again the movie starts playing out the same to when Gohan transforms into an Ozaru. Anne gets up just in time to see Gohan transform, and just like how Goku is trying to get through to Gohan, Anne does the same thing. And again, the scene will start playing out similar to how it does in the actual movie, with Icarus getting through to Gohan. However, unlike in the movie where they just stand there, Anne actually blasts Gohan's tail, de-transforming him. Because of this, Turles doesn't get to attack Icarus. Turles is disappointed in both Anne and Goku. Anne and Goku are about ready to fight Turles, that is until Turles' crew comes in. Anne takes on Turles' crew while Goku takes on Turles. Anne, despite having some trouble, is able to take him out, to which after she does, she joins Goku in his fight against Turles. The fight is becoming in their favor, however it doesn't last long, because once Turles gets the fruit from the Tree of Might, he easily beats down on both Anne and Goku, to which at this point, Turles no longer believes Anne is a Saiyan. After the beatdown, Turles goes back up to the tree to get more of the fruit. However, unbeknownst to him, Anne is actually able to get back up just before Goku can, and she flies up against Turles. When Goku gets up, he charges a spirit bomb. The others don't go after Turles, and instead give their energy to Goku for the spirit bomb. When Anne faces off against Turles, Turles is surprised that she's able to get back up. He questions one more time if she really is a Saiyan or not. He doesn't let her answer because he charges after her. As he does so, Anne uses her Calamity power, and she's using 100% of her power. Goku, who's been charging the spirit bomb, no longer senses Anne's power, and he gets worried. As Anne and Turles are fighting, the fight has become equal, mainly because Anne has been heavily damaged. Goku yells up to Anne, to which Anne does hear, and she sees him throws the spirit bomb. Anne is able to fly out of the way as the spirit bomb flies up towards them, and just like in the original movie, the spirit bomb hits Turles and kills him, and thus the movie ends the same way. So that was the Tree of Might. As you noticed, Anne was much more involved in there, to which yes, she is supposed to be more involved. If we're going in chronological order here, with the Dead Zone, Anne just gets there, the world's strongest, Anne is starting to become a part of it, and by the Tree of Might, she's supposed to be part of the group. Anyway, speaking of Anne, we are going to go on to the next movie, Lord Slug. Now this movie actually doesn't start off the same. Granted, yes, the events with Gohan and Icarus does stay the same. However, we're not focused on Gohan and Icarus. We are focusing on Anne. We start with Anne studying. We see that Anne is clearly struggling with her study and that she is uninterested in it. However, she is saved from her studies when she notices Domino 2 show up at the window. Anne excitedly goes up to the window. However, this moment is shortly interrupted by Chi-Chi, who enters the room and catches Anne. Chi-Chi ends up scolding her about not doing her homework. Anne complains about her studies, and she questions on how she couldn't know any of the stuff that she is learning. She proceeds to give some examples and answering said examples. I would give some, but I am not that smart, nor am I willing to frickin' look them up. Anne stops herself when she realizes that she does know this knowledge. When she looks up to Chi-Chi, she looked at her with a proud I told you so look. Anne is excited and is proud that she knows this type of stuff, and that she may be even smarter than Marcy. She looks out the window and says, "Look out, Marcy, we got a new smartest in the group." She sits back at her desk and is about to continue her work. That is until she senses the ship that carries Lord Slug as well as his crew. The events plays the same for a while, with some exception that Anne is with the group on the side, and not with Goku and Krillin. The Slug's crew is attacking the citizen, Anne charges first and then followed by Gohan. But again, the events are playing out the same. Anne does put up a fight when trying to get to Bulma, but she is taken out by surprise. After the planet's been terror freeze, the conversation between Chi-Chi and Bulma stays the same, but just like in the original, Chi-Chi notices that Gohan has snuck off. Bulma also mentioned that she hasn't seen Anne either. When we cut to the battlefield, we see Anne is attacking the crew, And once again, she is dressed in her Mothman AU outfit. This is the last time this outfit will ever appear. While Anne is fighting, Slug's crew is starting to surround her, to which Gohan comes in and helps her. And just like before, Anne and Gohan are fighting, this time they are much more on guard. When Piccolo comes in, the event starts playing out the same, with the exception that Anne is fighting Angela. Because of this, Piccolo does not get interrupted and is able to get to Gohan, but Mishimi is about to attack Gohan. When Anne sees Piccolo getting blasted to protect Gohan, she uses her Calamity power, to which she kills Angela and Metamacha. We cut to the inside of the ship, to where Slug notices Anne's power. And once again, the scene starts playing out similar to how it does in the original movie. When Slug makes his appearance known, Goku can't tell if Anne's power is enough to handle Slug's power. Anne charges after Lord Slug, with Goku following. During the battle, Goku, just like in the original, is outmatched, but Anne and Slug are equal when it comes to power. Slug is impressed with Anne's power, but he tells her that he isn't using anywhere near his full power, which worries Anne. When Goku gets back up, he uses a Kaioken to try to get back into the fight. Slug is starting to overpower Anne, and Goku, even though he's using the Kaioken, still can't keep up. After Slug beats down on Anne, he goes over to Goku and does the same, and just as he's about to finish him off, the scene will play out the same, with Goku using the false Super Saiyan state and everything that happens afterwards. As Slug is crushing Goku, Anne hears him getting crushed, to which she forces herself up. She calls out to Slug, getting his attention. He mocks her because he knows that Anne is nowhere near strong enough to take him on, especially in this state now. But Anne doesn't back down. She uses her Calamity power once again to power up. Anne's power is seen through the clouds that is terror freezing the planet. We cut to a shot out in space looking at random planets, to which we will see a power similar to Anne shining in the stars. With Anne's power being like a light blue, this one is being a light green. As Anne is powering up, she feels an energy connecting to her, to which this scene will start playing out like a mixture between Goku's first Super Saiyan transformation and Gohan's first Super Saiyan 2 transformation. After the spectacle, we would see Anne's new, quote, form. Instead of it being light blue, it is more of a cyan type of color. Slug is surprised by this, but he still thinks that he's way above her, especially because he can't sense Anne's power. However, he was in for a bad surprise when Anne charges at him and goes right through Slug, just like how Goku does in the original movie. And just like in the original movie, Anne flies up past the clouds to get rid of the machine that's terror freezing the planet. Slug follows her just as she summons a ball of ki. She tosses up and summons a tennis rack made of ki, and she slams the ki ball with tennis rack made of ki and sends it to Slug. The ki ball drags Slug into the machine, destroying both the machine and Lord Slug. As the clouds dissipate, Anne stands powered down on the side of a cliff. She looks up into the sky with a smile on her face, and she thanks Marcy for her help. She doesn't know how, but she could feel that it was Marcy's power. The movie would end with a scene with a close-up on Marcy's hand up in the sky on Namek. She lowers it and brings it to her chest and quietly calls for Anne. The scene is supposed to play to not show Marcy's face. And that is the Lord Slug movie. As you can see, I tried to make this more focused on Anne. After we finish the Frieza saga, next we had to do is the Two Cooler movie. And after the Cell saga, Android 13 and Broly. That's all I gotta say. Fireblade here, and I will see you later, whatever I make. Bye!